Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we will be doing a first look at the game Hearts and Minds, Vietnam 1965-1975. This is from Compass Games. This is actually, I think, the third edition of a game that was previously published by a couple of other publishers. This is the Compass one. This is the latest and greatest. And it is a design by John Poniske. And here you can see the back. So maybe it's a little bright. I'll tone it down a little bit after I go to the box opening part of the video here. Medium complexity, time scale, 1 turn per year. It's an area movement game with the map being basically provincial areas. Unit scales, units represent abstract fighting forces. It's a 1 or 2 player game. It does have medium to high suitability for solitaire. Average time to play 45 to 60 minutes per year. You can see it's got some cards, and these are some of the counters, of course. It does say Hearts and Minds offers a unique approach to one of the most controversial conflicts in the post-World War era. From 1964 through 1975, the United States fought to prevent a communist takeover of South Vietnam. By 1967, 500,000 American troops were stationed in Southeast Asia. War expanded into Laos and Cambodia, facing an elusive, invisible enemy, controversial bombing campaigns, mounting military casualties, and civilian deaths. The American public responded with massive protests for and against the war. 1968 Communist Tet Offensive turned into a stunning Allied victory, but an unexpected media disaster. By 1973, the U.S. had pulled its troops from Vietnam, but continued to support the South Vietnamese. Until their collapse in 1975, the war resulted in 58,220 U.S. dead and well over 1 million Vietnamese soldiers and civilians. So this is a unique card-driven area movement approach with tremendous replayability. Players explore the military and political aspects of the war, easy to learn, quick to play. HAM draws players to play any 1 year or a series of years. Players are engrossed in the language and events of the era, from the Ho Chi Minh Trail, hidden VC units, concentrated bombing missions, rapid deployment forces, South Vietnamese coups, almost said coops, they're not chicken, it's coups, and the promotion of green survivors into tough veteran troops. Okay, so I am going to pause here. We will open this up and take a look inside the box. Okay, let's pop the top. And we see we've got cards, lots of cards. I'm going to put those aside for the moment. 2 decks. It's interesting. It's just the way it's packed. The dice are large. I've read about this, the large dice in here. So blue, I would assume, will be the American forces, and the red we'll use for communist, perhaps. And then we've got, of course, our solitaire play guide. So that's why this game has a medium to high suitability for solitaire. You could probably play it two-handed, I would assume, is why it gets the medium. The high would be if you use the solitaire play guide. We're going to put that aside as well. And we will start, as I usually do, with the rules of play. All right, goals of the game. You win the game by accumulating political will. The North Vietnamese player, the red player, attempts to score Dove points, which add to the political will total. The South Vietnamese player, blue, attempts to score Hawk points, which subtract from political will. You can play an entire campaign from 1965 to 75, or you can play a shorter scenario of however long you choose. The scenarios show setups for every year from 1965 through 72. Pick a starting year, pick an ending year, and that is a scenario. To decide a winner, compare your final political will score against the end year goal. Each year also has automatic victory goals for each player, so your scenario might end early. The player's chart lists victory goals for every scenario. Okay, so we've got 26 sections in the rules, it looks like. Terminology. ARVN, ARVN, that is the Army of the Republic of South Vietnam, which I'm sure many of you already know. Blue is the blue player, the Allied side. Red, we know, will be the communist side. But you've got RPs for resource points, RVN, Republic of South Vietnam. You've got the NVA, the North Vietnamese Regular Army. NVN is North Vietnam. VC, the Viet Cong, right? The black counters, as it says there. Red and blue, capitalized words, are to the game's two sides, North Vietnamese Communists and the South Vietnamese Allied Forces. Do not confuse them with counter colors. When referring to the red NVA units, the rules will always say red colored, and they will say blue colored to refer to the US ROK, that is the Republic of Korea, and IF units as a group. This means red units include the black VC, the gray Pathet Lao, and the gray Khmer Rouge. Likewise, the green ARVN units are blue units. Secrecy, you should keep secret your hand of cards and your campaign deck if you are playing two-player. Of course, no one may examine either game deck. Blue may not examine hidden VC units, and red may not examine VC units or the VC pool until after he has deployed his VC units. All other information is public. Here's our game components. A rule and scenario book, a mounted map, 22 by 34, 3 sheets of 3/4 inch counters, 1 deck of cards with the following: 27 red, 27 blue, 26 black cards, 1 4-page set of flowcharts to assist play, a solitaire rulebook, 2 player aid cards, and 2 6-sided dice. There's a shot of our map. Red dots mark key cities. South Vietnam is divided into 4 military zones, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you ever heard the term I Corps, that would be First Corps. Yellow lines mark the boundaries. The players run campaigns in these zones. Brown bordered provinces mark Montagnard tribal areas. Border provinces are the Cambodian, Laotian, and South Vietnamese provinces that are next to the country borders. Game track, you've got a dove and a hawk marker here. You've got stability for the Republic of Vietnam, South Vietnam, coup markers. Stockpile RP, resource points, for each player. You've got a blue and a red. And then you've got, I guess these are the markers themselves. Red player controls NVN and all SVN provinces that have red flag markers. The blue player controls all SVN provinces without red flags. When a province changes political control, then you either add or remove a red flag from it. Blue flags mean pacification. They do not mark control. The blue player controls blue flagged provinces. A province may not have red and blue flags at the same time. Legal and forbidden provinces, Blue Water Navy. Gunboats restricted to Zone 4. Tanks on both sides may not enter Zone 4. Player's chart contains summaries, charts, and tables. Game pieces, we've got our units. These are what they look like. You've got an untried side and a veteran side. These are the ARVNs, of course, the Army of the Republic of South Vietnam, the United States of America, the Republic of Korea, the International Force, UN forces, Cambodians, Laotians, the North Vietnamese Army, the Khmer Rouge, the Pathet Lao, and VC. All right, then you've got some units here. Asset is a support unit. Its strength is in a white box. So you can see what that looks like. The blue player has 3 air naval assets, as you might expect. The Blue Water Navy must always be in a coastal province. The gunboat must be in Zone 4. The air cav may be in any SVN province. All 3 assets can react to battle. Okay, moving on. I'm reading more of the rules than I plan to, but I'm really looking forward to playing this game. Markers, here are our markers. The cards, it explains the resource point value of the card, the resource point cost if the event is played, the event itself, and a response card over here. Then you have other cards, black card, a 69 card with the year on it, campaign card, and a grand campaign card. You can see campaign zone 1, grand campaign. So we'll get into that, I guess, when we do the playthrough. Zone campaigns and grand campaigns, resource points, sequence of play. So you've got a reinforcement phase where you deploy your reinforcements and replacements. Blue goes first. Hand refill phase. Players refill their hands to 5 cards. The player may choose one campaign card. Red player decides first. Card play phase. Players take turns playing one card each for 4 rounds. Red first. In each card play turn, a player buys and does actions. Interphase. Players adjust political will and RVN stability on the game track. Then we have our details for the reinforcement phase, the hand refill, the card, and our interphase. We have movement rules, air and naval movement, ARVN movement rules, amphibious movement, North Vietnam, VC movement, strategic movement, and our stacking. So looks like we got 4 infantry units for the blue, 1 artillery, 1 tank, 1 air cav, 1 blue water navy, 1 gunboat, 1 Lima Site 85. The red stacking limit per province is 4 regular infantry units. I guess it doesn't matter. They are NVA, Khmer Rouge, or Pathet Lao. You can only have 4 of each, or total rather. 1 artillery unit, 1 tank unit, 2 VC units. Units may overstack as they move through a province. And they may not enter an enemy-occupied province if they would cause overstacking, and they may never stop in any province overstacked. Battles, so how battles work. Battle round consists of the following steps. The defender may attempt to evade, reveal any concealed Viet Cong units, resolve bad intel on the Bush events table. If no defending units remain in the battle, abort the battle sequence. The attacker does not spend his resource points. If blue is attacking, air or naval units, or I guess I probably should say air/naval units, may react, but both blue and red units must be present. Each player sums his battle factors, rolls a die, and consults the battle table on the player's chart. The result is the damage applied to the opponent's units. Fires simultaneous. If blue is defending, he may react with air naval units, but both red and blue must be present. The defending player may spend RPs to reinforce the battle from adjacent provinces. Ambushes are permitted. Blue units may not reinforce by sea, and VC units may not reinforce at all. Skip this step if there are no defending survivors. The defender may reinforce even if no attackers remain in the province. Okay, battle results, evasion, retreat, air naval reaction, defender reinforcements, battlefield promotions. We saw that the units have untried and veteran sides, rules for the Viet Cong, rules for bombing, ambushes, raids, Cambodia and Laos, political control changes, pacification, Republic of Vietnam stability, and our 3rd edition credits. And then back here you have an example of play of a couple pages, designer notes, scenarios, and then year by year. We've got 65, 6, 7, and 8, and 9, 70, 71, and 72. 73 to 75, playing to the bitter end, the Ho Chi Minh campaign. This would be post-U.S. withdrawal. And Tet offensive. Easter offensive, card play notes, optional campaign rules. Apocalypse Now. Got black cards, blue cards, red cards, dedications, people involved with the game. And there you go. And this is Bush event table, bad intel units. So that's the rules. We'll take a quick look at the solitaire play guide. Solitaire play guide, definitions, preparations. You're going to separate the decks. Unless playing the 69 scenario or later, remove the 4 cards from the red and blue deck identified as 1969. Also remove the black. So you're going to pull some cards out. Remove red campaign cards. Response preparation, deck preparation, card hands, game pieces, cards. So basically this is just things that will be changes to the rules to handle the solitaire version for the different areas, your sequence of play, and your bot options. Okay, and on the back, we have some clarifications. So just basically errata, I guess, for all of the stuff, all of the areas. So now we have, let's look at our player aid cards. So we have 2 that are identical, and they're 2-sided. So here's one side and the other side. So we have our interface summary here. Perhaps we should do it like this. This might make more sense. So here we have the where to deploy units, right? So NVA has to be in North Vietnam, VC, red flag provinces or border provinces in Laos or Cambodia. Blue units may not be present. Deploy face down. Do not examine until after you place them. Pathet Lao, Khmer Rouge, the U.S. international forces, and the Koreans will go to any friendly base provinces free of red units. If the blue player cannot deploy all of his units at bases, he may deploy the balance in South Vietnamese coastal provinces without flags, red flags. Then you have where you can put ARVNs, Blue Water Navy gunboat, air cav, Blue CALA. I'm not sure what that is, but we will find out. Bombers, abbreviated sequence of play, your battle sequence, your battle table. Sum the battle factors of all units in the battle group and add to the one die roll. Combat is simultaneous, so you can see the numbers here and their result. So in R, target must either lose one resource point or a strategic resource point or eliminate one unit, ignore if all units are killed. And the numbers are the numbers of units that must be eliminated. So you can have up to 4 eliminations. Interface summary, victory goals by year. Vietnamization beginning in 1969. Blue must withdraw units from the game, remove them first from the dead pool and then from the map. Remove veterans before untried units. Do not remove bombers until 73. The Republic of Korea and international force units may not substitute for U.S. withdrawals. For every 2 U.S. units you remove, promote 1 untried ARVN infantry unit to veteran status. Promoted ARVNs may be reinforcements, replacements already on the map. Then you got your reinforcement schedule plus your withdrawal schedule for both sides. No withdrawals for the communists, of course. And then evasion, the evasion rule that we saw when we were looking at the rule book. And then we have some flow chart here. So this likely is, I believe, for the solitaire game, perhaps. Well, there's 2 sides of this as well, right? So you have your mobilize a province procedure. As a programmer by trade, I am very familiar with your flow charts here, but this is a very simple one. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. Your decision points and so on. And so on this side, we have the interphase, action, and the combat procedure. And then on this side, you have your mobilize a province and pacify and political control procedures. Then we have our counters. So they're in shrink. Let me pull the shrink off. Okay, so here are our counters. So you can see American units here, including some bombers, some armored units, our blue water, some aerial units, gunboats, etc., artillery, resource markers, and so on. Port close, some dove markers, the year marker, etc. Now, if we flip to the other side, you can see the veteran side of the combat units. You can see we got some Koreans right there. And then the flip side has Hawk, Coup, port closed, and the communist markers. And we have here our red forces. These, of course, would be North Vietnamese Army. The black is Viet Cong. Flip it over. You can see this would be the side that you would place it so that, let's see how easy they punch out. I pointed to it, touched it, and it popped out. So this would be the unrevealed side, and then you would flip it over and you can see its strength on the other side. Okay. And then here we have the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, our ARVN forces, as you can see. And I guess these would be the international force. Iron triangle. And then you got some blanks. And then, of course, on the back, they're all all the veterans, etc., etc. 3 sheets of counters that pop out really easy. I'm dropping counters all over the place here. Now we come to the map, which is very nice. And I'm going to zoom out and show you what the map looks like. Okay, so here we see our map. You can see at the top we've got, well, this is actually upside down, I know, but you have boxes and they're the same on both sides, pretty much. You do have an air base here. But you also have, you can see the core, right? Zone 1, I core, 2 core, 3 core, and 4 core, which is the delta, right? Saigon is right here. It's kind of sideways when we play. I'll probably turn it this way, maybe, although this is a good look at it. Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, which is out of play. Here's our North Vietnam box. At the bottom, you've got your interface summary, reinforcement summary, bomber, ground attack, evasion, ambush, raid, battle tables, sequence of play, and battle sequence all along the sides, on both sides, as I mentioned. Here's our year track. Here's our game tracks, VC pool, the dead pool, the body count. And that is a look at the map. I wanted to also look at the cards, which I did not bring out before. So we'll take a look at those as well, and I'll just hold them up close to the camera so you can get a good look at them. These are easier to open, so I'll pull these out. And here we have some cards. So we have a boondoggle card. As you can see, play after battle dice are rolled. If blue takes casualties, at least one must be U.S. International Force, Republic of Korea Infantry Artillery. Tunnels of Ku Chi, Elephant Grass, Dak Kong, RPG-7 rocket launcher, Hanoi Jane, AK-47, Buddha's Birthday, Sappers, General Uprising, Gwen Cao Kai, Gwen Chi Fan, The Limited War, Uncle Ho. What's it say for Uncle Ho? Cost 2 RPs in every battle round this year where you attack, add +1. Okay, flying telephone poles, that would be surface-to-air missiles. The Russian-built SA-2 rocket. Indian country, the Kent State shootings. As someone who lives in Ohio, I live fairly close to Kent State. Secret War, Campaign, Walter Cronkite, Kaisan, Idrang, Iron Triangle, etc. You get the idea. These are obviously the red cards. There are also green cards and black cards as well. Here we have an example of a black card, which is beaucoup, mispronounced form of the French beaucoup, which means very or a lot of. So that is going to end our look here at Hearts and Minds Vietnam 1965 to 75. I will do a playthrough of this game in the not too distant future. This is a game I've been wanting to play for a while. I'm excited to actually do the playthrough. But this is the end of our first look. I do appreciate you guys taking time to watch. I hope you found it interesting. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, etc. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know by posting them. And that'll do it. I'm Joe. This is the Hexed Encounter channel. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.